You're listening to Underground USA News.
Sunday, August 3, 2025. Former FBI Director Christopher Wray faces serious allegations as the Oversight Project has referred him to the Department of Justice for potential criminal charges, including making false statements to Congress and obstructing proceedings. The referral stems from claims that Wray misled lawmakers regarding the FBI's alleged anti-Catholic bias and its role in suppressing an investigation into a Chinese mail in voting scam tied to the 2020 election. These accusations raise significant concerns about transparency and accountability within the FBI, particularly given reports that the agency concealed evidence of foreign interference to protect its leadership. As the Justice Department reviews the referral, questions linger about the integrity of Wray's tenure and the broader implications for public trust in federal institutions. The U.S. Office of Special Counsel has initiated an investigation into former Special Counsel Jack Smith to determine whether his criminal investigations into President Trump violated the Hatch Act, which prohibits federal employees from engaging in partisan political activities. Prompted by a referral from Republican Senator Tom Cott, the probe focuses on Smith's actions prior to the 2024 election, which Cotton alleges were intended to undermine Trump's political prospects. Both Smith and former Attorney General Merrick Garland have maintained that their investigations, including those into Trump's handling of classified documents and efforts to challenge the 2020 election, were not politically motivated. Given Smith's current status as a private citizen, the potential consequences of the investigation remain unclear, though findings could be referred to the Department of Justice's Weaponization Working Group for further scrutiny. Senate Democrats, led by Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, have stalled the confirmation of dozens of President Trump's nominees, demanding over $1 billion in federal funding releases and a commitment to avoid further spending cuts in exchange for cooperation. Senate Majority Leader John Thune called the move unprecedented, highlighting the first time in recent history a minority party has blocked all quick confirmations, forcing time-consuming roll call votes. Negotiations collapsed as Trump rejected Schumer's terms, labeling them political extortion on social media and urging Republicans to abandon talks. With the Senate now on its August recess, Republicans are considering rule changes in September to expedite confirmations, as the partisan gridlock underscores deep divisions over Trump's nominees. Dominique Kittle, 37, became the fourth person arrested, all black, in connection with a brutal July 26 brawl in downtown Cincinnati that left two people, both white, seriously injured, as authorities continue their pursuit of two remaining suspects. The incident, captured in viral videos showing a group attacking a man and woman, has sparked national outrage and debates over crime and public safety. Kittle, charged with aggravated rioting and misdemeanor assault, faces a $150,000 bond, with his attorney noting his paranoid schizophrenia diagnosis. Cincinnati Mayor Aftab Purevel and Police Chief Teresa Theach have condemned the violence, emphasizing that such acts have no place in the city and promising to hold all responsible accountable, as the FBI and Justice Department assist in the ongoing investigation. In a decisive 50-45 vote, the U.S. Senate confirmed G9 Pirro, a seasoned prosecutor and former Fox News host, as the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, reinforcing a commitment to strong law enforcement in the nation's capital. Pirro, who served as a judge and district attorney in Westchester County, New York, brings decades of legal experience to the role, having been appointed interim U.S. Attorney in May after President Trump withdrew his initial nominee, Ed Martin Jr., due to insufficient Senate support. Her confirmation, praised by supporters for her tough-on-crime record, marks a significant step in addressing high-profile cases and advancing justice in Washington, D.C., despite objections from some Democrats over her past media commentary. The Midwest is grappling with some of the worst air quality in the world, as smoke from hundreds of uncontrolled Canadian wildfires pours across the border, smothering cities like Chicago and Minneapolis in hazardous conditions. On August 1, 2025, air quality alerts were issued across Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin, Illinois, Michigan, and parts of Nebraska and Missouri, with Minneapolis and Chicago ranking among the top 10 globally for poor air quality, according to IQ Air. The thick haze, driven by a cold front, has reduced visibility and posed significant health risks, particularly for sensitive groups, prompting officials to urge residents to limit outdoor activities. Harvard University has agreed to provide the Department of Homeland Security with I-9 employment verification forms for nearly 19,000 current and recent employees, following a July 8, 2025 notice of inspection. The move comes as part of a broader federal inquiry into employment and immigration compliance, though Harvard is withholding records for student-only roles, citing potential privacy concerns under the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. The university's decision reflects a commitment to adhere to federal regulations while navigating heightened scrutiny from the Trump administration, which has also issued subpoenas for international student records. This development underscores the ongoing tension between academic institutions and federal authorities over compliance and oversight. In a pivotal move to safeguard the United States from escalating missile dangers posed by adversaries like Russia and China, President Trump's Golden Dome Missile Shield program is set to dominate discussions at this week's Space and Missile Defense Symposium in Huntsville, Alabama, drawing over 7,000 attendees, including top Pentagon officials and defense industry leaders. The initiative, which integrates advanced space-based interceptors with ground and sea-based systems to create a robust layered defense, addresses the urgent need for enhanced homeland protection amid projections of China's hypersonic arsenal expanding to 4,000 by 2035, and Russia's reaching 1,000 within a decade. Key speakers such as Stephen Whiting and Jen Sean Gainey will highlight the role of innovative technologies like AI and 3D printing in strengthening U.S. warfighting capabilities, while the Missile Defense Agency hosts a dedicated industry summit to advance the project, emphasizing American innovation and resolve. Senator Deb Fischer noted the opportunity for a generational leap forward under the Trump administration, breaking cycles of complacency in missile defense to ensure national security in an increasingly hostile global landscape. Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad have released harrowing videos depicting Israeli hostages Ron Braslavsky and Aviator David in dire conditions, appearing emaciated and subjected to severe physical and psychological torment, including being forced to dig their own graves. These disturbing propaganda videos, intended to pressure Israel after stalled ceasefire talks, highlight the brutal tactics of these terrorist organizations, which continue to hold captives in Gaza following the October 7, 2023 attacks. The footage has drawn widespread condemnation for its cruelty, with critics noting the stark contrast between global criticism of Israel and the silence surrounding Hamas and PIJ's inhumane treatment of hostages. Sarah Aweda, an aid worker who spearheaded a multi-faith alliance to feed over 100,000 Gazan families, is now under threat from terrorists and local merchants for bypassing Hamas and profiteering groups in her innovative food distribution system. Her model, which ensures fair and dignified access through verified beneficiary lists and ID checks, has delivered 75 trucks of aid in the past month alone, with 112 more en route. Despite the success, Aweda faces betrayal from former allies and escalating dangers, highlighting the challenges of delivering humanitarian aid in a region rife with corruption and violence. Her resolve remains unshaken, driven by the gratitude and dignity of the families she serves. Hamas has declared it will not disarm unless an independent Palestinian state is established, directly challenging Israel's key demand for ending the ongoing conflict in Gaza. This stance, articulated on August 2, 2025, underscores the group's insistence on sovereignty, including Jerusalem as its capital, further complicating ceasefire negotiations. The announcement comes amid heightened regional tensions and international calls for de-escalation, with Hamas rejecting what it calls misleading U.S. statements regarding Gaza aid. Critics argue this position risks prolonging violence, while supporters of Palestinian statehood see it as a legitimate demand for self-determination. Fresh clashes in Syria's Sweda province and northern Aleppo highlight the fragile grip of interim President Ahmed al-Shara's government, which ousted Bashar Assad in December 2024. In Sweda, Druze militias attacked Syrian security forces, killing at least one, reigniting tensions after a July ceasefire faltered amid sectarian strife with Bedouin tribes. Concurrently, government-affiliated fighters clashed with U.S.-backed Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces in Aleppo, wounding civilians and soldiers. These outbreaks underscore the challenges Shara faces in unifying a nation wary of his Islamist ties, with ethnic and religious minorities like the Druze and Kurds skeptical of his pledges for stability. As humanitarian conditions worsen in Sweden, where aid convoys struggle to meet demand, the interim government's authority remains under strain. Russian forces bombed a critical bridge in Kherson, Ukraine, disrupting military logistics and damaging civilian infrastructure, including homes and a gas pipeline, in a strike that injured at least one resident. This attack, part of Vladimir Putin's ongoing campaign to control the region, followed Ukraine's retaliatory drone strike on a military-linked oil depot in Sochi, Russia, which sparked a massive fire and disrupted air travel. These tit-for-tat strikes highlight the intensifying focus on targeting each nation's infrastructure, raising concerns about the war's toll on civilians and the prospects for peace as both sides dig in. In a significant blow to graft amid ongoing wartime challenges, Ukraine's National Anti-Corruption Bureau and Specialized Anti-Corruption Prosecutors Office announced on August 2nd the exposure of a large-scale bribery scheme involving the inflated procurement of first-person view drones and electronic warfare systems, resulting in the detention of 4 individuals, including Servant of the People Party lawmaker Oleksiy Kuznetsov, former Luhansk Oblast Governor Serhiy Haidai, Rubizhin District Head Andriy Yushchenko, and the head of a National Guard unit. The scheme, operating through 2024 and 2025, saw contracts deliberately overpriced, such as a nearly $239,300 deal for FPV drones inflated by about $80,000, with kickbacks reaching up to 30% of contract values funneled back to the perpetrators, underscoring the persistent threat of corruption diverting critical defense funds that demand rigorous accountability to protect national security and taxpayer resources. This revelation came just days after Parliament unanimously restored the agency's independence on July 31st following public protests against an earlier attempt to curtail their powers, prompting President Volodymyr Zelensky to affirm zero tolerance for corruption and emphasize the value of independent institutions in ensuring fair justice and transparent governance. Beijing's recent statement expressing support for Russia in the Ukraine conflict was intended as an apology to President Vladimir Putin following a Chinese intelligence breach. According to an insider from the Chinese Communist Party, this move highlights China's strategic maneuvering to maintain its alliance with Russia amid strained relations, raising concerns about the CCP's broader geopolitical ambitions and its willingness to prioritize authoritarian partnerships over global stability. The revelation underscores the delicate balance of trust and espionage in China-Russia relations, with potential implications for Western interests in countering their growing alignment. In Foshan, Guangdong Province, the Chinese Communist Party has initiated widespread chikungunya virus testing, reporting over 6,000 confirmed cases as of July 31st, with 333 new cases on August 1st alone. The rapid implementation of PCR screening and quarantine measures, reminiscent of the CCP's COVID-19 response, has sparked fears among residents of a return to stringent lockdowns. The US CDC is considering a travel notice for China due to the outbreak's rapid spread, while the World Health Organization warns of a potential global epidemic. Critics question the transparency of the CCP's data, given its history of underreporting, and express concern over the lack of a chikungunya vaccine and the heavy-handed control measures, which could disrupt lives and livelihoods in the region. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has declared that the United States must compensate Iran for damages caused during the 12-day war and provide guarantees against future attacks before nuclear negotiations can restart. According to a recent Financial Times interview, Araghchi emphasized that Iran will not abandon its uranium enrichment program, viewing it as a matter of national sovereignty, despite U.S. insistence on zero enrichment. With the Trump administration continuing its maximum pressure campaign through new sanctions and no indication of releasing billions in frozen Iranian funds. Prospects for renewed talks appear dim, raising concerns about escalating tensions in the region.
You're listening to Underground USA News.